DreAllDay.com.
DreAllDay.com. Today's daily motivation is about: you cannot apply average thinking to exceptional outcomes, and you cannot use average thinking to achieve exceptional outcomes. So this really is about the conflict between exceptional outcomes, which is what most people say that they want, and average thinking, which is what most people have. So this is what stops or interferes with a lot of people achieving the outcomes that they want to achieve in life, because they are trying to achieve these exceptional things, yet they're trying to get it with they got bad tools. You got cheap tools. It's kind of like you're trying to, for example, ever since I stopped playing basketball, the only sport that I've competed in since I stopped playing basketball is running. So I've done a couple marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, stuff like that. I never got into doing, like, one thing that's big down here in South Florida is triathlons. They have triathlons all the time. And, you know, triathlon is running, swimming, and biking. Now, I don't like swimming enough, and nor am I good enough at it that I would even get into a triathlon. But one thing I like about cycling competitions is that, especially like with people, just everyday people, is that people got different kinds of bikes. Sometimes I'm in the elevator in my building, I'll see somebody with a cycle, and I'll ask them, how much was your bicycle? And I've had people tell me that the bike itself was like $3,000, but then when you customize it and all the extra stuff, it ends up being like $5,000-$6,000 these people invest in their bicycles. Most I've ever paid for a bicycle was like $1,000. So I'm like, all right, if I get in this race, and when you get in the race, you got to use your own bike. So I'm like, yo, if your bike is better than mine, you're just going to beat me just because you got better equipment. And the whole point is this, and this is why I like running, because running, you just got your body. There's no equipment. You don't have these extra variables. Whole point is, if you want to achieve exceptional outcomes in your life, you can't show up with a $1,000 bike getting into a race with a bunch of people who got $5,000 bikes. Everybody understand? All right, you want to achieve a $5,000 outcome, you can't do it with $1,000 equipment. Everybody understand the metaphor that I'm giving you here? And this is what I mean when I say applying average thinking to exceptional circumstances. One thing that I was thinking about specifically that led to this topic was people were talking about when there was the fires in Hawaii, right, in Maui, and a bunch of people's possessions got wiped out. Oprah Winfrey, allegedly, I didn't even go into detail on the story, but allegedly Oprah was going to give $5 million or $10 million. Her and The Rock were going to give money. I don't know if they actually gave the money or not. It's hard to decipher what actually happened. But when Oprah was saying she was going to give the money, I was on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I was asking, what's the issue? Why are people mad at Oprah for wanting to give millions of dollars after a disaster? I thought people would be happy for that. And a bunch of people's responses was, well, Oprah's worth $2 or $3 billion, whatever amount she is reportedly worth. So her giving $5 or $10 million is only like, less than 1% of her income. And somebody said, well, that's like Oprah giving $5 million when she's worth 2.3 billion or whatever the number was, is like a person who's worth $100,000 giving $35. And first of all, that's not true. That's actually incorrect. That's an inaccurate formula, first of all. Because number one, just because somebody is worth a certain amount of money does not mean what somebody's worth does not mean they have that cash in the bank, number one. Number two, someone to become a billionaire, and you're comparing their line of thinking to someone who is, or you're comparing the line of thinking to someone who's worth $100,000 to someone whose worth is $2 or $3 billion, they don't think the same way. All right, the thinking that got somebody to $100,000 is not the same thinking to get somebody to $2 billion. So comparing those don't make any sense. This is thinking, again, and I'm using this just metaphorically. I'm not saying somebody's worth $100,000 is an average person, but that's average thinking compared to exceptional outcomes. All right, being worth $2.3 billion is an exceptional outcome. There are very few people who get to that level. So you can't take the thinking of an average everyday person, like these people who are responding to me on X, Twitter, and apply that to somebody who's worth $2 or $3 billion. Because a person who's worth $2 or $3 billion doesn't think like these people. So you can't take your thinking and apply it to her situation and say, well, that's what it's like. Well, that's what it's like to you. And that's why you're on Twitter and you might be worth, probably not even $100,000, but you're making these comments that don't even make any sense. So this is the point that I'm making for all of you. whatever exceptional outcomes you seek to achieve, or if there are some exceptional outcomes you're seeking to achieve, understand that you can't take average person, everyday person thinking. If this happens to be you or happens to be the people around you, you can't take that line of thinking and apply it to some exceptional outcome that you're trying to achieve. It's not going to work. They're oil and water. They do not mix. Okay, so if you want to achieve exceptional outcomes in any aspect of your life, the most important thing you need to do is, first of all, you need to take inventory of your thinking. You need to do an inventory of you need to just look deeply into how you think and how you're thinking, what results your thinking has produced up to this point, and you need to make any necessary adjustments, edits, anything that needs to be removed, updated, adjusted, renovated, anything needs to be added in. You got to make these adjustments, because you can't show up to a place where you're trying to produce an exceptional outcome with average thinking and then expect that you're going to get the outcome that you want with the thinking that you've had all the way up to this point. If you've been getting average outcomes, you can't get exceptional outcomes with that line of thinking. The thinking has to change. It's the most important thing that has to change. I told you this when I was talking about 10x in a previous daily motivation video, that to 10x, you got to change the first most important thing you got to change is your mindset. So yes, a lot of people, when they talk about 10x, and they're talking about actions, right? So make more calls, put out more material, be more active, be more engaged in the game, put more energy out there. Yes, those things are all true, but understand the only way anybody's even going to do those things, it's not like you don't know what to do, you're already doing it. It's just you're multiplying your outputs. So it's not like you are getting any new information, you're just changing the levels of your outputs. Everybody already knows what the output is, you're just doing more of it. Only thing that stops people from implementing this is the mindset that says, I can't do it, or it's not worth it. So what has to change is the mindset. This is why at Work on Your Game, I've been saying this for 20 years. Number one thing we help people with, number one thing we focus on, the number one piece, I don't care what you come to me thinking you need, number one thing you need is a shift in mindset. If you're looking to get better, anybody, anything you're trying to get better at, number one thing you need is a shift in mindset. When the mindset shifts, then we can make all the other edits, all the other adjustments, test out all the other theories to make things work. But the mindset must change. You want to make more money? We got to change the mindset. You want to get more customers? We got to change the mindset. You want to be a better three-point shooter? We got to change the mindset. There's a mindset behind every single adjustment and edit that people want to make and that people need to make in order to get to their desired outcomes. So with all that said, folks, again, remember the most important point here. Don't take average level thinking, and you got to be honest with yourself if your thinking is average level. So if you can't be honest with yourself about that, then none of this will actually work. You got to be honest with yourself. Okay, I've been having average thinking. I got to make some adjustments this way, this way, this way. Don't say your thinking is exceptional. If you want to know what your thinking is, look at your outputs, look at your results. Look at your outcomes, not outputs, outcomes. If your outcomes are average level by your definition, that means your thinking is average level somewhere. That's why you're getting the outcomes that you're getting. That's just what it is, folks. And you got to be able to look at things objectively and honestly in order to make adjustments. Because if you look at something and say that everything's good as it is, but your outcomes are not good, then you're going to keep getting the same result over and over again. So you got to be honest with yourself about that, or you need to hire yourself a coach who can tell you the truth to your face, and you need to be disciplined and confident enough to accept that truth when it is given to you. I'm looking at a parking spot here. I'm wondering if I could fit in here. I think I might be able to. So anyway, that's today's daily motivation. Make sure you text me. So you are getting my Monday motivation text that I send out every single day. Not every single day. I'm so used to saying that. Every single Monday for free by texting me at 305-384-6894. Secondly, if you want to get my daily motivation text, I do still send that, but you got to subscribe to get the daily motivation. You got to text me at my number, which is the same number, 305-384-6894. Once you have texted me, I'll tell you how you can subscribe and how you can get in to get that daily motivation. I'll give you the link to go get into and be registered for the daily motivation, which goes out to people who have subscribed to it. Make sure you leave a comment on this video. Let me know the best action step. Couldn't fit in that parking spot. Best action step you took based on this video, And Work on Your Game University. That is where I do all my coaching. That's where all my high-level frameworks and trainings are at. That's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can see all your options for getting involved with us there. And while you're here, make sure you do all the YouTube stuff, which is subscribe to the channel rather. Hit the notification bell, like this video, share this video, and send a link to this video, to somebody who needs to hear this message, who you know is going to help them take their game where it needs to be. Everybody have a great day and work on your game. Dre all day.